Good morning, children. Children, today we shall discuss the first chapter of civics, power sharing. As we know that in class 9 we have discussed many things about democracy. Democracy is the government of people, for the people and by the people. And this is a very important quotation of Abraham Lincoln. Once he said this, okay? The government of people, for the people and by the people. So where the representatives are elected by the people, okay? Ultimate power is in the hands of the people. India is a democratic country. There are various features of democracy as we have discussed so far. Like all the people are treated equally. There is no discrimination on the ground of caste, color, religion. People have right to vote. People can raise their voice against the government or any institution if they think that the government or any organ of the government like legislature, executive, judiciary, as discussed earlier, they are the organs of the government. Okay, the people have the right to raise their voice. And in democracy, we have the opportunity to enjoy various rights. We can correct our mistakes. The conflicts are resolved amicably, and the decisions are taken with the consultation with many other people. Okay? So, on the other hand, we also came to know about some other forms of government like dictatorship, monarchy, okay, other things. But when we learned the features of democracy, we came to know about power sharing. Okay, means in democracy, the power is not concentrated in any organ of the government, whether it is legislature, executive, or judiciary. There is checks and balance. We shall be discussing later on about these aspects in this lesson again. But here, first of all, we need to understand the two stories regarding power sharing. One is about Belgium, the other is about Sri Lanka. Okay, let's know first of all the ethnic composition of Belgium. Okay, in this chapter we shall discuss about the two case studies to understand the concept of power sharing. Ethnic composition of Belgium. Belgium, as we know, is a small country, small European country. Okay, and the ethnic composition of this country is that 59% people speak Dutch language and they live in Flemish region of the country. Okay, 59%. Then 40% people speak French language and they live in the Wallonia region of the country. So two regions are there, Flemish region and Wallonia. And remaining 1% people in Belgium, they speak German. This is the ethnic composition. But the interesting thing is here, Brussels is the capital of Belgium. In Brussels, 80% people speak French language. Okay, 80% people. But all over the country, the Dutch speakers are in majority. As I told you, 59% speak Dutch language. Okay. But one thing is important regarding this. The people who speak Dutch language in Belgium, they were poor as compared to the people who speak French language. Okay, in the country. Okay, the French speakers, they were relatively richer than the Dutch speakers. So there was some conflicts in the country between the Dutch speakers and the French speakers, but the government of Belgium accommodated all the people speaking all the languages which I talked about just now. Okay, so the people of Belgium, whether they spoke Dutch language or German language or French language. They started living together. So in modern democracy, Brussels is considered as the ideal uh, is the headquarter of the European Union. So this is the best model of democracy. We shall be discussing the steps taken by the government of Belgium regarding the accommodation of power sharing later on. And second is the ethnic composition of Sri Lanka. Okay, Sri Lanka is, you know, the small country situated in South Asia. Okay, India's neighboring country. Here, the situation is different. 74% people speak Sinhala language. Sinhala is the major language spoken by the people of Sri Lanka. Okay, they are in majority, they are 74%. And 18% people speak Tamil language in Sri Lanka. Okay, here there are two categories of Tamil speakers. One, Sri Lankan Tamils, they constitute 13%. Okay, others are the Indian Tamils, the ones whose forefathers went there from India. So overall 18% people speak Tamil in Sri Lanka. So children, but in 1956, some steps were taken by the government of Sri Lanka, which resulted into civil war in Sri Lanka for many years. Okay, for many years there was struggle between Tamil speakers and the Sinhala speakers, and in this struggle, many people have been killed, many people injured, many people were arrested by the government. So it was a very serious problem that arose in Sri Lanka because of the majoritarianism measures taken by the government of Sri Lanka in 1956. Okay, the majoritarianism means when the people who are in majority, they think that they are better than those people who are in minority. Okay, and the people who are in majority, they start dominating the people who are in minority. Okay, the people who are in majority, they think that they are free to take the decision whether the decisions are against the wishes of the people who are in minority. So these steps, which are known as majoritarianism or majoritarian steps taken by the government of Sri Lanka in 1956, okay, resulted to the civil war in Sri Lanka, which I just talked about. What these steps were? Okay, first of all, in 1956, the government of Sri Lanka declared that Sinhala as the official language. That Sinhala was declared as the official language of the state, of the country. Okay, so those people who spoke Tamil in Sri Lanka, they thought that they were neglected. Okay, so their wishes were neglected. So they thought they were not being given rights by the government of Sri Lanka. And second step which was taken in 1956 by the government of Sri Lanka was that the government followed preferential policies that favored Sinhala applicants for university positions and government jobs. Okay, it means the government declared that those people who speak Sinhala language, they will be given preferences in the government jobs. They will be given preferences in the university positions. Okay, so what about the rest of the people? Think, children. If the government discriminates, if the government gives rights to a particular section of people, what will happen? What would be in the minds of the other people who are not given the rights as happened in 1956 as a step taken by the government. So the second step, which I just talked about, that the preferential policies favored the Sinhala speakers in university position in government services, government jobs. Okay, so it created a resentment in the minds of the people who spoke Tamil language in Sri Lanka. And the third step, as I taught you earlier about secularism. In democracy, all the people are treated equally. Secularism is the system where all the religions are treated equally, where the state does not have any official religion. Okay, this is known as secularism. But in Sri Lanka in 1956, the government took the step that government decided that the state shall foster Buddhism as official religion. Okay, so what about those people who didn't belong to Buddhism? They were Muslims, they were Christians, they were Hindus. So children, what happened? So those people who were Tamils in Sri Lanka, after this act was passed in 1956, they demanded certain rights to the government of Sri Lanka. They demanded autonomy. They demanded freedom. They demanded that equal rights should be given to them in Sri Lanka. But after long struggle, the government of Sri Lanka did not accept their demands. Finally, there was a very critical situation. It's a big struggle between the government of Sri Lanka and the people who spoke Tamil language in Sri Lanka, which resulted in the killing of many people in Sri Lanka for many years. Many people have been killed so far. Many people have been arrested. Okay, in the civil war that took place in Sri Lanka for many years. And there, the Sri Lankan Tamils formed an organization which is known as LTTE. LTTE. LTTE means Liberation of Tamil Tigers LM. Liberation of Tamil Tigers LM means they demanded separate country. They demanded that they did not like to live in, they did not want to live in Sri Lanka. So this organization was the major organization of the Sri Lankan Tamils. Okay, so this question is asked many times in the examination regarding the majoritarianism or regarding the majoritarian measures taken by the government of Sri Lanka to establish Sinhala supremacy. Okay children, so this is all about. First is the ethnic composition of Belgium, second is the ethnic composition of Sri Lanka, and third is the majoritarianism in Sri Lanka.